Listen to this, guys. This is quite interesting.
How low you think Bitcoin goes in this cycle right here? If it goes any lower, where does it go?
I think it's pretty stable where it is right now. Yeah. I mean, most of the liquidation selling is out of the system. I think we should rally from here.
And then
so this is Michael Saylor, obviously. You've probably seen this video, and he's been interviewed about his opinion on where the price of Bitcoin is now and where does he think is going. And of course, he gets questioned about the 4-year cycle. Some people say that he's changed his mind. I don't think he has. I have some evidence that he hasn't. But let's listen to this video first.
What do you think it ends?
I don't believe in 4-year cycles anyway. I mean,
I never believed in the 4-year cycle.
I think that they might have had some credence in the first 12 years, but I just right now the 4-year cycle is somehow based on the idea that 225 Bitcoin a day get taken out of the supply after the next halving. That's $22 million or $20 million of buying. Trust me, $20 million of buying. The market traded 100 billion yesterday. 20 million is not even a third order issue at this point.
I absolutely agree. I think that in the earlier days when, the market cap of Bitcoin was quite low and the market cap of the altcoins were even lower, the 4-year cycle was informed by what the miners were doing, what the whales were doing, and all the altcoins obviously followed suit because their values were measured in sats. So a lot is going to happen now when the institutional buy-in comes in and their activity absolutely dwarfs that mechanism. And some altcoins and cryptocurrencies like XRP also start to decouple away from this whole process. I think that the change is coming. I don't think it's here this particular cycle, but let's hear what Michael Saylor thinks.
Yeah.
The dynamics in the market are much more that, Jerome Powell thinks he wants to hold interest rates higher for longer, right? It's macroeconomics, it's political, it's structural. When,
tariffs, conflicts.
When IBIT's derivatives market went from 10 billion to 50 billion, it did that in 4 weeks. I mean,
viruses.
So those kind of things, when JP Morgan, offers 10 or 100 billion dollars of loans against Bitcoin, that will dwarf the 4-year cycle. It's the actions of the mega finance actors that are determining the future of Bitcoin right now. And all the fundamentals are good. So my advice to anybody is, first of all, if you make decisions with a 12-month or less time frame, you're a trader.
Yeah.
If you're a trader, you're a trader. I have zero advice.
By the way, for us non-Americans, the American accent sounds like he's saying traitor, as in someone who betrays or someone who commits treason. He's saying trader, someone who trades. But I can hear the difference, obviously, but to many, it sounds the same. So it's funny because it sounds like he says, if you sell your Bitcoin, you're a traitor. But yeah, I get what he's saying there.
Advice for you, right. I'm not a trader. I'm not a good trader.
Yeah.
I don't purport to be. I have zero advice for you. On the other hand, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're an investor, you should have a time frame of 4 years or longer. 4 to 10 years.
Okay, so that's quite interesting. Now, some people said that he's actually changed his mind. Here's another video right next to it where he basically said the same thing in 2022 or even earlier. So this is 4 years ago. Michael Saylor asked about Bitcoin.
So about this possible winter, are you really not feeling the cold?
She's talking about crypto winter, of course.
Look, if you're going to invest in Bitcoin, a short time horizon is 4 years, a mid-time horizon is 10 years. The right time horizon is forever. Warren Buffett said, if you wouldn't hold it for 10 years, you shouldn't hold it for 10 minutes. So if you look at the course of 4 years, no one's ever lost money over 4 years holding Bitcoin. And if you look at, our experience, we started buying it at $10,000 and now it's up by a factor of 4. So given the right time horizon, you're fine. So it's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is it makes it the most exciting, interesting thing in the financial universe everywhere in the world. And the curse is it can induce anxiety for people that have a short attention span or are focused on a narrow time horizon.
So obviously that is Michael Saylor, 2022, at the heart of the bear market approaching crypto winter. All the big crashes that happened, FTX, Lunar Classic with Do Kwon's, a scam project, and everybody was saying that it was all over for crypto. Bitcoin was in a nosedive, and he was expressing that same opinion back then. So shout out to Saylor. He's been quite consistent. Now, in terms of whether or not I agree with what he's saying, of course, I do believe that the four-year cycle will eventually end, especially when the big money comes in from the institutions and the countries. However, I think because the regulations and legislation has been a little bit slow, especially in the United States, all the stoppages, all the hurdles that we've experienced, and we don't even have the Genius Act isn't even a thing yet, right? Now, that has slowed everyone down. I think the institutions have put on the brakes a little bit. You know, what the SEC did with Ripple, all of these things had slowed everyone down somewhat, and we haven't gotten there yet. So I don't think that the institutional buying that we're seeing right now is quite enough to end the 4-year cycle. There is a lot of money in Bitcoin that still sits with people who believe in the 4-year cycle. So we're going to get this self-fulfilling prophecy of people selling off, expecting a bear market, yada, yada, yada. And most altcoins are going to follow suit. Also, with Ripple and XRP, I don't think we're at the place where we're decoupling yet, unless something massive happens with this whole NDAs that they all seem to be talking about or not talking about because of NDAs. And that decouples this cycle. Having said that, I think that the 4-year cycle might extend slightly to something like a 4.5-year cycle, because now we're going to see some pumps. I believe, in my opinion anyway, by December we're going to get a Santa rally, for instance. But then once we've got the Santa rally and the blow off top and the euphoric season, and then we get a proper alt season, we might end this whole bull market around February or March, which will still kind of be in line with the 4-year cycle. So it might not be a perfect 4-year cycle, but I think the cycle is still here. Now, if you look at the price of XRP, you can see that we've recovered somewhat. We're the ones that are in the green compared to the others who are still kind of in the red. If you look at Bitcoin, that's still kind of struggling to get back, almost back in the green as well. But XRP leading the top 10 tokens into the green because of all of the good macros surrounding XRP. But I think that this week is going to be quite nice. I think people are going to recover from the extreme fear that they felt over the weekend. Like I said before in the old video, the fear and greed index is a lagging indicator. So we did go down a little bit, but not as much as I thought we were going to, which is good news. It means that people might not be as afraid as I thought they were. And if this is the case, and of course all the liquidations have happened and people are now licking their wounds, we can now begin to recover. Because I think that the dump that we saw over the weekend wasn't really that necessary. I know that Wall Street and all those guys were selling off because of risk of asset selling, etc., because of the macro events and because of the fear of the Fed not cutting rates in December. So that spooked a lot of people. They thought maybe December rally wasn't going to be a thing. So, you know, they started to consolidate, capitulate, whatever it is that you want to say. Now, when it comes to countries, what they're doing in terms of crypto, there's a lot going on around the world in terms of regulations. It's going to bring these financial behemoths to the table to stabilize the price of Bitcoin and the price of alts. Now, I'm going to start with Japan. Now, Japan is doing something really drastic. They plan crypto tax cuts and new trading rules in 2026. So they're having an overhaul of the entire crypto environment to try and make Japan a little bit more palatable and attractive to crypto traders. As it is now, the tax is out of control because it currently falls under Japan's progressive income bracket, which can reach more than 55% for higher earners. And we all know that if you hold something like XRP or another token that's going to do a 10 or 100x, all of a sudden you find yourself amongst the highest earners and you're paying this insane tax to the government. And that has completely deterred people from staying or keeping their crypto in Japan. Also, people with legit money and, you know, that do their research and all that are seeing all of the insider trading that is happening, or at least possible, in Japan. And they're, you know, basically diverting their trades elsewhere. The government obviously is trying to repair the economy, which is in absolute nosedive at the moment in Japan. And a crypto policy is one that they're working on because they recognize that crypto is the future. So that's from Japan. In the Czech Republic, which is in Central Europe, the central bank has bought $1 million worth of Bitcoin. And what are they doing with this? They're carrying out a test. It's going to be a couple of years or so where they're going to be testing hodling? What are the lessons learned? So they have a task force that has bought crypto, and they're basically going to sit there and, mess around with it. They're going to see, what it feels like to have it, hold it. What are the options? What are the security issues? What are the privacy issues? All of those things. Basically, the Central Bank of the Czech Republic is acting like you or acting like me, where they're trying to learn more about this thing. Now, it's kind of funny to me that we, as, average Joes and retailers, are this far ahead of a central bank of a country. All of those things that we've spent years learning, how to hold, what's a wallet, all that sort of stuff. Now they're familiarizing themselves with it and they're testing it to see. Now, of course, we're going to be going probably into a kind of a bear market. So their experience is going to be of a bear market. So I don't know what kind of positivity that's going to have on them. But as you can see, the purpose of the portfolio is to gain practical experience with holding digital assets and to implement and test the necessary related processes, the bank said. So yeah, they're pretty much saying we're going to hodl. We're going to hold this. We're going to use this $1 million to test, the technicalities. Are we going to make money? Are we going to lose money? What's a wallet? When do we hold? When do we sell? Basically, the Central Bank of the Czech Republic is becoming a crypto bro. I wonder if they're going to then get FOMO. Imagine if the Central Bank of the Czech Republic starts to FOMO into meme coins and all that sort of stuff and start trolling people online and posting ridiculous memes. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one and see how far that goes. The United Kingdom, we had a quite interesting encounter with a Ripple president. All right. So Monica Long hosted the UK Economic Secretary in Singapore amid talks of crypto advancement. So this lady, her name is Lucy Rigby, and she's our economic secretary here in the UK. And she met up with Monica Long, one of my favorite XRP executives. And this meeting is possibly tied to broader UK efforts to attract fintech investment post-Brexit. Choosing to use Ripple means the UK recognizes the blockchain payments firm is efficient in global payments, reducing costs and settlement times compared to traditional systems like SWIFT. So, it's probably more than that. It's probably a lot that was talked about that we're not privy to. So shout out to the UK and shout out to Monica Long. Shout out to Ripple. Something cooking up there with Britain and Ripple. I keep telling you, Ripple, they don't play in the sand pit with the kids. They play in the big offices with the big shots, government level stuff, top executive level stuff. So XRP to the moon. Shout out to hodlers, not financial advice. Do your own research. The governments are coming. I know the price is a little bit down. It's disheartening. But if you try and focus on the bigger picture, then you won't panic. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Peace.